Okay, this is the Garrison Avenue Bridge. Pretty much the first part of the Belt Parkway going from Flatbush westbound toward Knapp Street. That's a nice view, so I figured I'd stop and take some shots. Clearly the city of New York still can't be bothered to fix this retarded segment after 4 years. In case anybody was wondering, it's still here. So I'm just walking my bike, obviously, since I have a road bike, not a mountain bike. Hey, it looks like there's a little bit of road up ahead, so let's see what happens. In case anybody wondering, this is the segment of beach that's way east of Kingsborough College and just adjacent to Plum Beach. There is a short little stretch of paved road, maybe about, I don't know, 30 or 40 yards at most, but then it becomes sand again. So it looks like this entire stretch is about maybe a quarter of a mile, and then you can pick up the path again and get good off at Knapp Street. It kind of sucks, actually. Makes taking this leg of the Belt Parkway Bike tour not worth it if you're trying to get an aerobic exercise, which I usually am. Well, not for this videos, obviously. Alright, so we'll pick it up over at Knapp Street or beyond. Okay, this is the beautiful Sheepshead Bay. Well, it's not relevant to any of the update videos for the Greenway. It is definitely a nice scenic road. That's right there is Ocean Avenue and the famous Lundy's of Brooklyn. It's been around for the better part of a century, I think. And some new restaurants. They really revitalized this area. Sheepshead Bay, of course, is Manhattan Beach. If anybody's interested, and there are some charter boats if you like fishing and getting stupid drunk and, well, maybe hopefully catching something. That's for you. Alrighty. By the way, I'm taking this with my phone because I really don't feel like reaching into my knapsack every time I stop, so I'm sure the video won't be as nice on here as it is with the iPad, but it'll have the virtue of not slowing me down too much. As it is, my average speed is in the toilet right now because of this, but what are you going to do? Alright, so next stop, I'm not sure where. Maybe Coney Island, maybe not. Okay, picking up the Belt Parkway bike path again. This time I'm by Caesars Bay. Geez, I think I'm really dating myself now. Is it even called Caesars Bay anymore? I'm still using my phone again because I really don't feel like digging my my iPad out just yet. I'm sure there'll be a nice difference. There's the Verrazano Bridge off in the distance. I think it's about 3 or 4 miles away, not sure, maybe only a couple. There's Kohl's, Toys R Us, and, well, you can't see it, but Best Buy and Roy Rogers and all that good stuff. Again, I may be really dating myself by still referring to this as Caesars Bay. That's what it used to be called a few years back. Alright, we'll resume the ride now. Okay, this is absolutely worth digging the iPad out for. It's only about 50 yards past where I made the last video, but I really want to use the iPad for this. This is just absolutely breathtaking scenery. Not sure I'm doing it appropriate justice with this, even with the iPad. I'm assuming there's going to be a noticeable difference between the footage I tape with this, the camera on here, and the footage on the cell phone. And with that assumption, by the way, that's Coney Island over there, all the way to my left, which is basically south of here. That's South Brooklyn, and that's Caesars Bay again. So you can see how close I am still there. There's the Verrazano Bridge, again a few miles north. And there is Bensonhurst and Bay Ridge. Okay, I'm taking this one while still on the bike. I'm just going at a very slow rate of speed, thus further killing my average rate of miles per hour for this workout. I'm not getting much of a workout for this ride, but I am getting some good footage. It looks like, from what I can see, it looks like they repaired the damage done by the hurricane, what was it, 4 years ago? I think it was Irene, I'm not 100% sure, but I'll let you know further when we go up. It looks like this was where it was. but I'm not sure where the damage was. But anyway, still, look how beautiful that is. I'm sure even it looks even good on the phone's footage. Okay, just resuming the footage here, we're about maybe a third of the way to the Verrazano Bridge, and if you look at the road, you can see it's not cobblestone, but it looks like shifting and stuff has caused a cobblestone-like effect in certain parts of this road. I mean, not that it's a big deal, it's not going to stop you from going, but I figured it's worth an update, because I don't remember it being this way. On the other hand, I don't see the damage from Irene 4 years ago, unless of course it was repaired. Unless of course it was up ahead. I think they may have repaired it, it looks like. But I'm going nice and slow just to take this footage, and again, there's the Verrazano. Here the road is relatively smooth. Okay, this is definitely worth stopping a few hundred yards of the Verrazano Bridge for. That is the ever-famous Verrazano Narrows Bridge, connecting the Bay Ridge section of Brooklyn with Staten Island. This actually used to be a ferry that ran here until I think it was 1963 or 64, I'm not sure. But what a gorgeous bridge this is. You know what, I've been to California and everybody raves about the Golden Gate Bridge, but in my honest opinion, I think the Verrazano Bridge is the most beautiful suspension bridge I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of them. Alright, so we shall continue on the ride now. Oh, by the way, just so you know, I did the whole span of this. Well, you know, I haven't gone past it into the deeper parts of Bay Ridge towards 65th Street yet. But apparently that damage that was done by Irene has been fixed. So I haven't come across it. It was really bad at one point. I had to walk my bike around. It even got off the the path about a year or two ago. So that's really good news for riders. And there's an update for you. The end, well, not really that close, probably about a mile away from the end of the famous Belt Parkway Bike path. Off to the distance. Off in the distance, I don't know if you could see it, but there's the Manhattan skyline. It might not, I don't know how to zoom on this thing. I'm sure you can, but I don't feel like figuring it out now. But there's the southern aspect of the Manhattan skyline, which of course is missing the famous World Trade Center. And as a New Yorker, that always bothers me, but we try to move on from these things. So that's the famous Manhattan skyline, and actually there in the distance, you probably can't see it on here, but there is the Empire State Building. The bike again, but I'm not going to break out the iPad for this. It's marginally, yeah, it's kind of pretty scenery, but this is the end of the Belt Parkway bike path. I see that little note, there's a no trespassing sign over there, and I actually got caught going in there once, not realizing it because I was just kind of going. There's the Belt Parkway overpass over, I believe that's 65th Street, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll know in a second. There is Staten Island again, and off in the distance is Jersey. You can still see a little bit of the Manhattan skyline, but not much. This is the Owls. This is the park that Papa Tom was talking about. It's called Owl's Head Park. I don't feel like checking the site right now, so I'm going to have to take it on faith, because this is right on Shore Road off the Belt, and I'm going to drive through this. I'm stopped now. I didn't get the iPad again. I really don't feel like breaking that out unless it's something big. But I'm going to bike ride through here as I promised I would. Not that anybody really cares, but Papa Tom had suggested it, and so I'm going to do it. Okay, going through the park, once again, Owl's Head Park, nice and slow so as not to piss off any pedestrians, which I almost did a couple of seconds ago. This is a really nice park, actually. Surprised I've never been through here before, or maybe I haven't, I just don't remember, but there's the Belt Parkway, or actually at this leg, I think it's the BQE. Yep, the sign confirms it. It might still be the Belt Parkway until another couple of hundred feet, and it becomes the BQE, but the Belt Parkway turns into the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway at around this point, so if anybody gives a rat's ass besides me, there you have it. Just going nice and slow, maybe about 10 miles an hour, if that. Passing on your left. Okay, this is sort of kind of the way that Papa Tom on his site describes linking up the Belt Parkway bike path with the Brooklyn Bridge. I'm on 60th Street and 2nd Avenue. He recommends 3rd Avenue, and I agree with him, by the way. 2nd Avenue starts to break up. I think it's maybe I'm not exactly sure where, but I believe it's in the low 30s or high 20s. So if you're on this road, you'll want to eventually move it over to 3rd Avenue, which I'm going to do. But, you know, I like this because it's kind of close to the waterfront. But again, like I said, 2nd Avenue is not going to go all the way through. I've been here many times before. I just forget the exact street it doesn't. And there's going looking toward the water. And now I'm going to stop and I'm going to break out the map for the Greenway because I think you can pick it up. This is 57th Street. Okay, still on 2nd Avenue, and we are on 48th Street, or coming up on 48th Street. And the reason I stay on 2nd Avenue for this leg, to be honest, is that if you look that way, that's 3rd Avenue where I just turned the camera, and I kind of like riding in the wide open space rather than under the BQE overpass. It's kind of a little depressing or whatever. The only thing is the street's a little broken up in spots here, but nothing you can't negotiate. But anyway, I'm going to make the turn on to go to 3rd Avenue soon, probably within the next 10 blocks or so. Because I know that 2nd Avenue is going to be coming to a quick end soon. On 3rd Avenue now. Just a little note here, I'm making this part of the video because I actually turned on, coming up on 27th, I turned on 32nd Street. However, if I had it to do over again, I would turn on 39th instead. The reason why is 39th is a very, very clear street. It's also the exit and entrance to the BQE. However, when I turned on 32nd Street, it was all cobblestone and chewed up road over cobblestone. So to be quite honest, I highly recommend if you're taking 2nd Avenue like I did, turn off 39th or west of 39th. But I would say I wouldn't go any further than 39th Street on 2nd Avenue unless you feel like driving over cobblestone, which really sucks. All right, coming up on Hamilton Avenue now. That's that left kind of curve around. So I'm going to curve around left on Hamilton Avenue, which is, I've done this many times before. It also happens to be what Papa Tom recommends from the forum, and I happen to agree with that. I think it's the best way to get from this area into the Red Hook and downtown Brooklyn areas. I sort of got a little intentionally flummoxed because I wanted to see, I was by the water on Hamilton Avenue and Smith Street, but I decided to take Smith Street down to the end around through Red Hook and a few other circuitous streets, which I don't recommend. You're better off picking up Bay Street and taking it, if you're going to go this route, don't take Smith Street all the way down. Make the right onto Bay Street. And then here's Columbia Street coming up. Columbia is like the main street that runs through the newly renovated section of Red Hook. It used to be horrible, but now this section is actually nice. Where I was a few minutes ago wasn't. But so Bay Street to Columbia Street, make a left, and I think the Greenway starts again up very close to here, but I'll know it's either gonna start. It either starts now or it will in a couple of years. It's under construction, but we'll see in a bit. On Columbia Street by Erie Basin, and as you can see looking down, that's a bike path. So apparently Columbia Street has a bike path, which I wasn't aware of. And I'm actually taking Columbia Street around Halleck. I'm still following the East River to as much of an extent as possible. Oh, somebody a few minutes ago asked me where this IKEA was, and I couldn't tell them. Well, now I could. So I should go back in time and let them know I now know where the IKEA is. Alright, so I'm on Halleck Street. I just made the right. And again, this bike path continues, and we'll see shortly whether or not the Greenway is picked up here yet. I have to rescind my recommendation of Halleck Street because a block or two after you make the right turn, it becomes all cobblestone, which is kind of a nightmare. So I don't want to hold the camera and try driving through this mess, or I'm going to lose my camera, my bike, or my head. So I'm going to get off of here and maybe take some footage when I find a better route. So definitely, if you're in this area, don't take Halleck Street, even though it parallels it's very close to the water and it's ideal in that sense. But there's no Greenway here, at least that I can see. But there is plenty of cobblestone if you happen to have a horse. Off that nightmarish cobblestone mess that was Halleck Street, and now I'm on Van Dyke Street, which is about a half a block or a block east of that. I think it's east or maybe northeast, I'm not sure. Pretty sure it's east. Alright, looks pretty clear so far. Okay, made the left onto Van Brunt Street, and there's no outlet here, but I'm not sure. I think the Greenway is actually very close to here. I'm gonna just scout around and I'll reshoot this video. I think it's either that way toward the water or a right turn this way. I'll see in a moment. But anyway, this is Van Brunt Street, and I'm not sure what street this is here. Okay, I think we're getting warmer here. That street, by the way, that I made the right turn on that I didn't know what it was because there was no sign, it was Reed Street. And now I'm making the left onto Conover Street, and it looks like, well, there's the water, by the way, and it looks like there's an entrance into, it says the Fairway Patio Grill. I'm not sure if that goes onto the Greenway, but I'll find out in a moment. I was wrong. That place that I was at before was just the entrance to some kind of a recreational pier, which I was pointing at, so I'm not going to go back there and take more footage. But apparently, there's the street, and this is Barnell Street behind what looks like some kind of industrial dock, but there are people walking, so I'm going to follow my bike and try to follow around this pier and see where it goes. I have a feeling this Greenway stuff isn't in existence just yet, even though it is on their map, but we'll see. Nope, this is a dead end. Barnell Street is a dead end, but I am rewarded with a beautiful view of what looks like it's emptying into the Narrows, the confluence of the Narrows River and the East River, but I could be wrong about that. There's the Verrazano Bridge all the way off in the distance, which I can't really see on this phone. I guess I got to figure out how to zoom. I will eventually, but for now it is what it is. Probably prettier than it looks on the phone, but I'm going to go back to the street and see if I can find another way onto what should be this alleged Greenway. Alrighty. A bunch of dead ends and a whole shitload of cobblestone nasty roads later, and I'm back on what looks like a bike path on Conover Street. Let's see, this is Conover and King Street. Alrighty, so we'll make the left here. Wow, this is nice. This is green, so I guess this is part of a green way. Actually, this is a road that I remember seeing in the circular, so I think we might be onto something here. Let's see. Okay, we're on Verona Street. We just passed Imlay, and again we're going toward the water, but you can't see it because there's big buildings in the way, but the water is to the left. And it looks like this stretch goes on a little bit, so we shall see. The right turn off of Imlay and onto Summit. It's just one block, and now it curves around.
Workout pause.
It curves around here. I'm not sure what street this is, but we are at the Red Hook Terminal. Back there is the Queen Mary. I should have taken a footage of that. I don't know why I didn't. But we're making the left around this street. I don't see a... This might actually be Columbia Street continuing. If it is, then I would recommend taking Columbia Street all the way around. I'll let you know in a couple of minutes what street this is. Okay, let's see. We're continuing on our way at a very slow pace. So I think Map My Ride has probably got me at about 3 miles an hour now. I'm not sure which street this is. I don't think it's Columbia Street. So it was Imlay to Summit, and then we made the left onto this street. That's really nice. No fucking street signs. Okay. A hint, maybe? Actually, I could go to Google Maps and just check this out. That's really weird. This is the street, the famous street with no name in Brooklyn. Come on, really? No, that's just strange. Hang on, I'm going to check Google Maps and I'll start the camera up again. Checked Google Maps, and apparently this is Van Brunt Street that we were on all this time. Yeah, again, really weird that there's no signs, but alright, whatever. This turns right onto DeGraw Street. I'm not going to take it, but DeGraw Street goes into Cobble Hill, where, actually, oddly enough, I used to do some massage therapy work a few years back on in a place called the Home Spa on DeGraw and Douglas. right on Court Street. But okay, so I'm gonna shut the video off now and continue riding. But this is, again, this is Van Brunt, and that what you're seeing to the right curving around is DeGraw, the beginning of DeGraw Street. DeGraw Street, and now I'm back on Columbia Street, which is very strange, leading me to wonder if maybe the best course of action isn't to just, where I got off Columbia Street before, just stay on Columbia and take it all the way around. On the other hand, the bike path does pick up here. So I'm going to take this way, obviously, because that's going toward Manhattan. But apparently that bike path I was on came around on DeGraw, and on the left side of the street you have the bike path continuing. So this might be, I'm assuming, is part of what the Greenway. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, check it out. Hold on. I just saw a light at the end of this tunnel. Waterfront tunnels. Well, waterfront tunnels. Yeah, that's good. Waterfront Pier 6, and in case the resolution isn't good enough, that says New York City Greenway, Brooklyn Waterfront. So we're definitely going the right way. How far this goes, though, I'm not sure, but we'll find out. Further down Columbia Street, that's coming up to the BQE. Actually, that's coming up to Atlantic Avenue and Cadena Plaza. There's Manhattan, by the way, but it looks like we're now definitely on the Greenway, because this is a walled-off bike and pedestrian path, which I believe goes all the way to the waterfront, which in my case would be a real big score. That's Atlantic Avenue, as I said. I knew this area pretty well, and we're coming around here, making the left onto Atlantic. I'm actually going to shut this off now because this could get a little dangerous. Atlantic Avenue, the end of that bike path there, and as you can see I'm rotating the camera, and that says bike route. So apparently this goes right to the water, and I believe this will take us right onto the Brooklyn Bridge, but I could be wrong. I've scored. This is, so just to review, it's Columbia Street, then left on, the path curves around. It actually, you don't have to really make a left, you just got to follow the path around to the left from Columbia Street to Atlantic Avenue. Follow the path all the way till the end, and you'll see that looks like a little fence opening almost to this bike path here. The only thing I'm not so sure, by the way, you may not be able to see it over here, but the Brooklyn Bridge, a little piece of it is peering out up ahead in the distance, just to the right of that yellow umbrella. So this is definitely the right way, although I'm a little dubious about how I'm going to get through all that pedestrian traffic with the bike. This may not be the best way to go until there's a bona fide bike path that goes along the promenade, if there ever is, but we'll see in a minute. Apparently that was the bike path. We came from there. The only problem is there's a stretch of about a quarter of a mile where you can ride through, but pedestrians don't seem to care that it's labeled as a bike path. So just be wary of that if you're coming through here. You probably won't have to dismount, but see how slow these guys are going? That's probably the speed you're going to want to go for at least the next little while. But we're on the promenade now, and that's beautiful. Look at that view of Lower Manhattan. There's the Brooklyn Bridge. That's real nice. I should grab the iPad out for this, but I really don't feel like it because I want to get moving. I'm already taking a long time for this ride. Alright, so we're continuing on this street here, which I think is a continuation of Columbia Street, but I'm not sure the name of this one either. I'll get it in a few minutes. Just checked Google Maps, and apparently this is the end of Joralemon Street. Joralemon Street is actually a north-south street, but at the end of its run, it sort of curves around to go east-west as it is now. So I'm facing the Brooklyn Bridge and the Manhattan skyline. So it appears that this is Joralemon Street, the sort of terminal end of it. I just wanted to add, while still in this area, there's a ton of food vendors here. It looks like this is some really good food. A lot of people are walking around eating burritos and quesadillas and different types of pretzels. And honestly, if I wasn't in a hurry and on a diet, I would be stopping here and eating. I may do it anyway if I get the urge, but right now I'm just more into doing this video and the bike riding. And there's a nice shot of the span of the Brooklyn Bridge. Okay, let's continue on our ride. Now onto the world-famous Brooklyn Bridge. Apparently I have to dismount here. And by the way, from that whole stretch that I started a little while ago with all the people and the concessions, it's very, very slow going, at least at this time of the midday. It's about 4 o'clock now, maybe 4:30. And you know, if you're coming at peak time when people are bringing their families, expect a very, very slow bike ride and expect to dismount at certain points. Apparently the pedestrians ignore or don't realize that there is a lane for bicycles and a lane for pedestrians. But, you know, I guess it is what it is, and everybody's out having fun with their families, so who am I to poo and shit all over people's good time, right? Old Fulton Street now. There's a nice shot of the Brooklyn Bridge, and there's the Manhattan Bridge a little bit in the background, but you can't really see it here. Probably see it better in the last shot that that's a beautiful angle, actually. There's the world famous Brooklyn Ice Cream Factory, nice homemade ice cream, and around that corner, right off Old Fulton Street, is a world famous pizza parlor where you can get charcoal brick oven pizza. I'm not going to go there, but you can know it's just at it's Everett and Old Fulton Street, and it's right across perpendicular catty corner away from the Brooklyn Ice Cream Factory. It's called Grimaldi's, and it's basically charcoal brick oven pizza, fresh mozzarella. Really absolutely fucking delicious pizza and amazing cannolis if you're in this area. But I just looked at the time, it's almost 4:20 now, and while I'm not tired at all, I really have a lot of stuff I got to do tonight, paperwork and stuff, so I'm going to have to call an end to the Greenway portion of this ride, and I'm going to just drive take Flatbush Avenue all the way back to my house. Hopefully I'll pick up the rest of the Greenway going into Williamsburg another day when I either have a little more time or you know, or I just do that segment of it. But for now, that's the update for the Greenway, and I'll probably just do one last segment when I get close to home and then post this all on the forum when I edit the footage. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed the relevant parts of it, and you just laughed at the stuff that wasn't relevant.